Hello, everyone. This is Thomas Pepin NHL Talk. I'm Thomas Pepin, and let's talk about the NHL. My apologies for being late today. I had something that brought me right up to the time I was supposed to start, and obviously couldn't advise of that change until at the time I was supposed to start. Anyways, so we are continuing the Building the Perfect NHL Roster series today, talking about contract term and expiration flow. Give me a brief moment to pull things up. So I think it's best described in the description for the stream here. Basically, as it states, I'll be applying the results of past streams where I optimize the duration of contracts for different tiers of players. So, for example, the best forward, second, third, fourth, and so on, and plan them in a way that stabilizes a franchise. And then, so essentially, you can think about it as you'll have one contract ending here, another contract ending here, another contract ending here, and then here, and so that you always have a chunk of players under contract, and that way you don't have like three guys expiring at the same time, and then you have a really tough time managing things. So the goal is to try to structure things in a way that makes sense, and then and as we do that, we're going to factor in the results of other streams where we know in theory at least how long different tiers of players should have their contracts for. As always, on the spot, no preparation except for knowing the subject. And so I am also late and don't have everything pulled up. So just bear with me a couple moments to do that. And then we will get started. We might need that. We do need that. Do we need this one? Yes. I think that's it, if I'm not mistaken. Just give me a sec here. I think I'll need to open up other ones later just to comment on them, but that's all right. We can go without for now. All right, so this one you guys don't need. This one you do. I can share screen now. So first thing I'm going to do, so what I intend to do once I actually start to put together the roster is to have everything inputted into Cap Friendly's, what do they call it again? Armchair GM, I think. There we go. So that's what I want to do. The problem is that I don't know which players I'm going to select, and to demonstrate what I want to demonstrate, I mean, I could do it through that tool, but it doesn't really I don't. It'll make it probably more complicated than it needs to be. But I do need to have some sort of a reference point of maybe how to make things look. So uh, I will use their structure. Oh, stupid thing. One sec. There we go. And I need a new spreadsheet to do that. So what we're gonna do is copy this structure basically and then go from there. So what we want is player actually let's just do that. So we want forward. Do we need to do position? No, because that's... Well, I mean, we might as well. It doesn't really hurt to do it. Maybe we'll use age. And then 2022 to 23 7 8 longest I guess, yeah, so we'll just leave it at that. 23 24 24 25 25 26 26 27 27 28 8 29 29 30. Okay, so and we'll freeze first row. 1 2 3 4 5. Oh wait, why did I need that then? Let's do it this way. Should I change the numbering? Nah. Yeah, we'll do it this way. Okay. as we'll make it all centered. Save one sec here. I think that accomplishes what I want. We'll put that there. I think I can share again now. Okay, so we've got, as you can see here on the screen, essentially the same as cap friendly, but for what we're gonna want to do. So, and you know what, actually, before I do start, because it does matter. I think that's as far as I need then. 30, 31. It'll make sense why I have to do this as well, or why I had to add this on. Okay, and then we can resize. Perfect, it fits. Okay, so yeah, you can see the structure. Like I said, again, it's similar to what Cat Friendly would have, and it'll work once we work through all this. It'll work for the purposes we need it to. So a couple things. So we have a couple different ways that we approximated player salaries and contract durations, and essentially now what we're doing is we're applying the concepts that we came up with. So first we have where is it here? Did I do that for them? Oh, yeah. So I did it for goalies, but not for the rest. Give me a sec then. So I want sum min max. Okay. So we want Okay, we want min this. I mean, we don't really know it or need it because we already know it, but so why do I need that? Okay. This can go across. We want max. That can go across. Delete that. We want min. Max. Did I do it for whatever? Yeah, maybe I didn't need to do this because is it over there? It is. Oh shoot. Whoops. So the point about doing things on the spot, you discover sometimes you make mistakes, and I in fact did not need to do any of that. Okay. Well, so it's already there. That's what I wanted. Okay, so my bad. So we can start straight from what we have. So here we have the average contract length of the first tier of forwards. And remember, the tiers were established based on performance and percentiles that were based on the so for example, the top player, so the top performing forward we'd want someone from the top 16 teams or the top 16 forwards. So in theory, one of the top 16 teams or teams that would make the playoffs. We had 3 years, so we multiplied that by 3, so 48. So the top 48 players from those 3 years was the top tier of forwards. And then from there, we did, I think it was 30 teams on average, so it was 90 per tier. And then that gave us, the performance per player that you'd have on your roster. And then otherwise we took a look at other things like contract length and amount for the different players, which is here, and then also the what was the other thing? So number of years that they performed within their tier. So anyways, there's a bunch of different factors here that we can compare to determine what makes the most sense for each tier. So as an example, we've got an average contract duration here of 7.5 years, whereas for the top four, wait, we're on defense here. So for the top, where is it? So for the top player, they could only maintain performance in that top tier for somewhere between 2 and 3 years. And so in effect, what you would want for your top forward is basically a contract duration of 2 to 3 years based on this. Whereas previously, like I just said, on the other one, it said 7.5 years. So those are major conflicts in prescription to what we should do. And then so the other thing we can look at is so average duration, we looked at it a different way. So consecutive years rather than number of years within a 6-year time frame. And so what we found for the best forward on your team could really only keep that performance for 2 years. So you got 2 years, 2 to 3 years, or one sec here, what we had previously. 7.5 years. So in reality, you have to go not based on, or in my opinion, because I'm making this strategy, I'm not just following what's currently being done. So the data that I gathered indicates that players should only have 2 to 3 years in that top tier. So when we're planning the flow of the contracts, we can start here from the first best player. Let's say that we will use, what color will we use here? What's a good color? Let's just go across that way. So we've got here your best forward, let's just say, because we've got two different things, 2 to 3 years. Let's go with 3 years because the common practice is 7.5. So we'll go as close as possible based on our results to what is most common. So we've got our first forward locked up for 3 years. Which way should we do this? We'll start just with the averages that we currently have. So we'll say that this is the contract. We'll go for the first forward what the contract currently averages out to be. We'll make that the current contract. And just give me, sec to change this. Okay, so we've got our primary score locked up now at approximately 8 million per season here. Then we take a look next. So the top four average 5 and almost 6 million per, and you can paste that number here. Now what we want is, again, to go have a look at what was the duration for the second group there. So from fourth best forward up to the first best. So on average, it was between 2 to 3 years here. Consecutive years, about 3 years. And what was the other one? And here it says about 6 years. So we'll go with the closest to 6 years from all the other data points we gathered, and so that'll be 3 years then. So we extend that across. And we've got our second forward. Now, I might have to adjust this as I go through, but I'm just trying to start with something, and then we'll figure things out, because things might not sum correctly, but this is kind of the idea of what we're trying to do. So it's like laddering your contracts so that there's as much overlap as possible, so there's as little as possible of fluctuations in roster changes from year to year. So this amount actually continues through for the top four forwards. And so we can extend that down. Then we want our next group of forwards. So the next group of forwards is the 8th, 7th, 6th, and 5th forwards. Average contract in the market is about 4 years. Based on our data we gathered. This stupid thing, sorry, one sec. We have an average, looks to be around, whoops, I don't know if you guys can see that, looks to be around 2 to 3 years. Move over to here, where we have consecutive years. It says 2.3. So currently we're like between 2 and 3 years, and then the common approach is 4 years. So again, we'll go with 3 years because that's closest to market norms. So then we take that contract, extend it through for 3 years. We have 4 of those. color code these. And I am going to go and backfill, but actually, you know what? I should start instead by doing it. Wait, does this... Give me a sec. I got to think about if this is the way we want it to go. 3, 3, 3. Yeah, I'll just keep it as is, and then, like I said, I'll adjust later, because I'm not sure how it's all going to pan out here. Or wait, no, I really should move this right away. Give me a sec. Wait. So we've got... Yeah, anyways, it's because I keep thinking about all these different things that are all kind of going on at the same time. So keep it simple, stupid. Don't do any more than I need to at the moment. So we'll have it like this and go from there. So next we have the third grouping of forwards. So 12, 11, 10, and 9. And so for them, most common performance is between 2 to 3 years within a 6-year time frame again. And then average is about 2. And then league norms are 2 to 3. And so we'll do, I guess, 3 again. Take the league average. Oops. Oops, I should do the color first. So we are at that 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess this one should have been this color. I mean, it's not all that important. I'm just OCD, I guess. And that goes like that. And then we'll just disregard the 13th forward for now, because I just want to get all things filled in first, and we'll go from there. Okay, and then we've got defense. So move over to defense. So your top defenseman is kind of across the board pretty consistent for so different years, different durations. There isn't a consistent trend. So 3 is the average here. The norm is about 6 years, so we'll do 3 again, I guess, for defensemen. So the top defenseman goes here. One, two, three, 4, 5. Didn't I just do that? 1, 2, 3, 4. What did I screw up then for the colors? Oh, and I did it from there. Looks the same to me. Anyways, so we've got that. I'll change the color, it's too close. Alright, and then we want the second defenseman. Where were we looking here? So we want defense. So it looks to be more towards 2 years, but kind of across the board pretty consistent. So we'll go with this one, 3 years. The normal duration is 6 years. So we'll go with 3 again. It seemed a bit dark. Let's change it to that, I think. And then now we go to third and fourth defenseman. So if we go back here, very consistently between 2 to 3 years, and otherwise 2 years looks like the average here, and the average in the market is 4, so it looks like 3 again. Oops, we want there. And then 5 and 6. most consistent for consecutive years is 2 to 3. Or sorry, years within a 6-year time, or number of seasons within a 6-year time frame is what I just mentioned, and then 2 is consecutive years. And so now I can't remember what I just mentioned, which was 2 to 3, and then we'll see what the norm is. We'll go with 3. Everybody's getting 3-year contracts, it looks like, based on this, but 2, 3. We want 3. Oh, sorry, we'll stop at 6. And then we want goalies, which I don't think we had for performance, did we? Oh yeah, that's a different spreadsheet, so just give me a sec here. Actually, I can pull it up right away. Let's get rid of that. So top tier is 2 to 3. Where was it? Here. 5 is the norm, so we'll go with 3 once again, it looks like. Okay. And then goalie number 2. There. And that is 2 to 3 years, but kind of spread out. And we'll have a look here to see what's more normal. So it says 3.5, so we'll go with 3 years again. And the salary is here. And then, as we established yesterday, we should go with the third string as well. Now the problem here is the data is skewed, so what is that, 8 million? We'll leave it for now, I guess. Okay, so what we need to do now is backfill. So this can go there. Oh wait, how should I do this differently? I should work backwards, I think. That makes the most sense. So, do this. I'll just do all the ones to the first season. Then that way I can make sure that things add up here. So what do we want next? Purple. Light purple. And the math already doesn't look like it's going to work, but we'll keep going and we'll make adjustments in a sec here. So we have that. It's not crazy far off, but I mean, it's definitely not quite right. Actually, it's almost exactly right. That's funny. That's not too bad. Just using league average salaries. Wow, I'm surprised. I was not expecting that to actually math out well. So, already, if you just take league average salaries and apply them across the board to fill out your roster, the math is nearly right. Uh, we'll just go because I think what's fair is what is the league minimum currently? One sec here. I think. it should be here. So 22-23 is 750. So we'll fill in. Is that not showing up? What's going on here? So that puts us over a bit. And then what should we do for goalie? Let's just say 1 million's good enough. Stupid thing. So it puts us over by 2.1-ish million, so it's not far off. And yeah, so I mean, in the end, really I don't need to demonstrate too much more than that. But I do need to just make sure that everything does line up appropriately. So we just wanted to get the math right, at least to start, and that's close enough. I mean, it's off by, like I said, 2.1 million ish. So now we just need to see about number of contracts expiring each year. So we've got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we can extend that. All right, wait, those are going to be individual years, probably anyways, for that tier of player. So let's go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then this one I think we would do for 3 years. Let's do this this way. That. I think that's good enough. So give me one more second. I want to double check here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 contracts expiring every year based on this setup. And now, see, this is where I wish I had better. I wish I knew of a way to see, like, if there's a way to do this. How do you optimize the number of expiring contracts if they're all 3 years basically? I think I already have the answer, but I just want to see if it maths, or if there's any other things that come to my mind before I math it out. And everybody's 3 years basically. So if we take 8 minus those 2 is 6. We've got 18, 21. I think this is optimized already. Because if it's 3 years per contract, and you've got, well, from my strategy, because I have 3 goalies guaranteed in the active roster, you minus the 2 depth forwards that are not playing, so that gives you 21. 21 divided by 3 is 7. 7 per year. I think that makes sense. I don't think there's a way to make it better, would there? So I think this is outside of my mental capacity to, on the spot, come up with a better optimization of number of expiring contracts. I think I'm already right, but I don't know because, again, for when I'm on the spot, and whenever you're on the spot to do something, it's difficult, but also I can't see it as being anything else. Because if the overlap is laddered for every single player group, and it's 3 years. You know what? I'm going to try one other thing and see if it makes a better result. I can do it on the same thing here. So move to end, sheet 2. Okay, so what we'll try instead is let's delete all these. Let's try it this way. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's try. So there's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what did I say here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is better than it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so it's consistent across every season is what you actually want. And that makes sense. So it's going to have to be broken up by groups of 3 rather than what I had by 4, which is what I was stuck to in my previous thoughts. So this is better. So we want 7 expiring contracts per season. It's almost per group that I had, of groups of 4. But not quite, but that doesn't really matter. So we just want it smoothed out, so that actually is better. So that I can delete these, that move that over. Is that contract the same? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Two, three, 1, 2, 3, 1, is going to be the same. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Sports fan, hello. Don't know how long ago you messaged, but so my apologies for the delay, but hi. And don't mind me just working away here. I think I've figured out that this makes the most sense here. That's the same as that. This moves over. This moves over. Then this, and this. I think that's right now. So it was 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's the correct flow then. So I guess that so from this previous one here, this is actually the optimal flow of contracts. So it goes, like I said, in groups of 3 where they stagger each season. That way there's smoothing of always 7 contracts expiring per season, which gives the greatest stability possible for the franchise. I'm just going to double check that I didn't screw that up and make a stupid here, but I think that's the solution here. So just give me a sec. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So it'll be 7 of the primary contracts. So your top 12 forwards, 6 defense, and 3 goalies, which is the structure that I want my ideal franchise to be. Plus the 2 depth spots that are probably going to be 1 to 2 year contracts, which those you're going to always have to flow in and out because you're trying to optimize with better players. Which is why I would say 1 year is probably the best bet, but could in theory be 2 years if you're good at targeting players and such. So I think we've optimized the flow. Give me a sec here. I want to check one other thing. Oh yeah, there was one more thing, so just a sec. Okay, so now we have this question answered. Now, just to kind of summarize on this point here, more or less what we discovered when this was in its previous form, the kind of our target, what we've discovered from putting it together, is for contract price is more or less the average salary for each group of players is accurate to what would be if you summed all those players together to get your total cap hit. So as a target moving forward, once we start to put together the roster, to keep that in mind as like a baseline expectation, what we're trying to accomplish is close to league average for all the players across the board. Now, it won't actually be that, because what I would want to do is skew my, for the most part, or at least for a chunk of it, skew them towards the higher performers to maximize your total production. But we'll kind of approach that problem as we get to it. So anyways, like I was saying, taking a look at league average salaries, summing them for each of the groups that I established, is really darn close to what a total cap spending would be. So that's a neat benefit of what I just did, but it wasn't the target. The target was this image you see here of the flow of the contract. So this is what we're targeting as our optimal flow. And again, given that we've essentially discovered that what is typically optimal would be 3-year contracts for every type of player, regardless of how high performing they are. So although that makes it where you have to do a lot of trading, probably, because you won't be able to re-sign everybody. Oftentimes they're going to want more than you're willing to spend, or as I'm willing to spend if I was the GM. So there's going to be a lot of movement, but it's part of the, I guess, the negatives of the strategy that I would be taking. So anyways, so we've got that out of the way. The next thing we're going to be taking a look at here is considering RFA status. Now, the problem with this on the spot is I'm not super familiar with RFA status and how it functions. Now, I know that teams have players under RFA status for a specific period of time. What that period of time is and how that's determined, I don't know. So what we can do is learn together on the spot what the requirements are to maintain RFA status. So let's have a look here. So what is restricted free agent? Let's see what Cap Friendly says. A player becomes a free agent when their contract expires on July 1 after the last league year of their contract. So we already know that contracts expire on July 1. That's normal. We know that. Or most fans would know that, I would guess. If the player does not meet the UFA requirements, they become a restricted free agent. If their club issues them a qualifying offer and they have met the following requirements. First, what's the S stand for? Player contract. I don't know. So maybe what's better to see is UFA status, but we'll still take a look here. Years of professional experience. We know that. An RFA offer sheets, not something we're going to talk about. Arbitration, If an RFA signs after the season, we don't need that. So we need to know then what a UFA is. And the reason is because we need to know when RFA status ends. A player becomes a free agent when their contract expires. We know that. Any player who meets the following requirements becomes an unrestricted free agent. So it's any player who meets, is it all of the following requirements? Any player who meets the following requirements becomes an unrestricted free agent. So that means it must be all. But I think that's, if you work at Cap Friendly, maybe a way you should adjust how the phrasing is there. Is 27 years of age on June 30. So RFA is under 27. Has 7 seasons, accrued seasons, where an accrued season is earned when a player was on the club's active roster for 40 games. So you need to have a minimum of 40 games for 7 seasons, or 30 if you're a goalie. Games missed due to hockey injury count towards the accrued season in the season of the injury, plus 1 additional season after the injury. Meets the requirements for Group 6. So you have to read more to figure this out. Okay. So under 26 and less than 7 years, 7 accrued seasons. So 26 and under, 6 and under accrued seasons, and then what we have below. A player whose contract is expiring and meets all of the following conditions will become an unrestricted free agent. 25 or older. Okay. So it can happen as soon as 25. So that's another adjustment there. Player has completed 3 or more professional seasons, qualified by 11 or more professional games, or 1 or more professional games. This can include NHL minor league, 11 or more professional games, 1 or more professional games if you're older than 20, and it can include NHL minor league. Standard player contract. That's what S stands for, I believe. I could go double check, but I'm pretty sure that's right. Player has played less than 80 games or 28 games of 30 minutes or greater for a goalie. Now, what I don't understand on this, so what happens with a Group 6 UFA? Does it have more information? Group 6? It does not. Okay. So, I mean, based on this, I don't know if I can really say that I thoroughly understand it. But I believe the gist is I think the UFA status probably best describes it, because the other thing is, I think, a bit more nuanced, and then exactly how they expire seems confusing. So I think, okay, so sorry. basically what it seems like is if you're under the age of 25, you're more or less under the control of your drafting franchise. I think so. That's kind of the I. All I really care about is the big picture of how long do we have guaranteed control over a player. And so it appears as though, so long as I've understood everything correctly here, and so long as this is adequate in describing everything, uh, it appears as though you have control of a player up until they're 25, or sorry, up until they're 25, excluding 25, so including 24. So up till 24, including age 24, you have control over the player in all circumstances. It seems like, based on what I've just read. Now, whether or not that's correct, maybe I'm missing information, or maybe I'm not understanding things correctly, but that appears to be the case. So, age 24, how do you optimize the use of those years? So, the earliest you can start is 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 7 years, is that right? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So 7 years you've got a player under contract, or with your franchise is what I mean. Again, assuming I understand everything correctly, guaranteed. So then if we're doing 3-year contracts, what you would want to do, and this actually lines up well, so you would have your entry-level contract from age 18, that's 3 years, extension for 3 years, so 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and then 24 is the last guaranteed year that you'd have. So if they were in the NHL for all those years, those 6 years there, then what you would, and I think this would make sense to optimize it as well, because assuming the player plays well, you would then do a 3-year contract from age 24, 25, 26. So then that means you could lock a guy up for 9 years, if it makes sense, of course, in order to optimize your use of their RFA status with your team. I think. So assuming I understood that correctly, then it really goes back to this previous image that we have. So let's take this same thing, move it down here. Whoops, move it down one more. So you have age 18, 19, 24. So we want this to move over here, this over here, copy this. Oh, wait, no, that doesn't work right. So, sorry, I need to change the way this image looks. So we want all these to cover here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you'd want to lock them up for maybe 3 more years. And that gets you your 9 years in total. So if you draft a guy, we can drag this down actually. That lines up. So if you draft a guy and sign him at age 18, you can have him under your contracts up until age 26 if you do groups of 3-year contracts. So yeah, I think that makes sense. So so it'd kind of look like that. I think is a better way to visually show it. Is that right? That. Sorry, wait, give me a second here. So that's 3 years. 3 years. No, I screwed something up there. That's what I screwed up. Okay. So then, yeah, 3 years to 20, 3 years to 23, 3 years to 26. Let me make sure that that's right. So it's 3, 3, and 3. So you can have up until the 24th year. Give me 1 sec. I want to look at that again. So you're guaranteed to have them at age 24. Again, assuming I understood this right. Age 24, you for sure have them. And so you don't want it to expire at age 24. You want it to start at age 24. Yeah, because then you get the 2 years after. So I don't think I screwed that up either. So yeah. Yeah, because you don't want to sign it at age 25, because then that is after you own the rights. Yeah, so then that does make sense. So, yeah, so then I guess essentially for any RFA guy, you just sign them for the 3 years, 3 years, and 3 years. So really, that works fine too, because that's the strategy to begin with for the rest of this stuff. So everything lines up exactly right if you sign everybody to 3-year contracts. So I guess that's a pretty good way to sum it up. So we've discovered that if you just do groups of 3, ladder all your groups of 3 players for 3 years. So first one's the first 3 years, then starting on the second year, 3 years, third year, 3 years, and then you keep doing that down. I'll actually go back and just show you. So it's exactly like this actually, but so it's right above here. So this is the strategy for planning your contracts. You do the top 3 all laddered, next 3 all laddered, next 3 all laddered, next 3 all laddered for forwards. Same for defense, first 3 laddered, second group of 3 laddered, and then your 3 goalies, because we're going with 3 goalies based on my strategy, all laddered. And then RFA status, you sign for 3 years, extend for 3 years, extend for 3 years, and that's it. Now, of course, that all depends on you want to make sure that the performance justifies all those extensions, at least for the RFA player. And then for any other player, you would extend. So in some cases, you might not want to do 3-year contracts. You might want to target players for 3-year contracts rather than negotiate contracts for lesser amounts. So I'd say that's probably more wise. So if you can't sign a guy for 3 years, trade him for a guy that you can get for 3 years or that is on a 3-year contract. But essentially, altogether, the strategy is 3-year contracts, 3-year contracts, and 3-year contracts. So I think that summarizes everything. Thanks for tuning in. If you like the stream, hit the like button, share with your friends, subscribe, turn on notifications. Otherwise, streams should be 2 p.m. Eastern daily. Today was an example where it wasn't. So I updated the channel homepage the stream on the channel homepage that would have told you the change to the timing, which if you notice for tomorrow, it is going to be 9 a.m. Eastern. I have another scheduling conflict, same one or same concept as what I did for Monday. So tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern is the stream, and then going back to 2 p.m. Eastern daily. Otherwise, any comments, leave them in the comments. Suggestions, same thing. And tomorrow we're going to just, it's going to be pretty quick, I believe. It should be very quick, I would guess, where we are forecasting the cap increases. That's a pretty simple thing to deal with as far as I'm concerned. So it should be very quick. But that's on tap for tomorrow. And then I think after that, we're starting to get into actually putting together the perfect roster. But whatever it is, it's on the channel homepage. You can see the upcoming streams. I put all the topics there for the rest of the week. So that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.